Good afternoon, YouTubers. This is the Charlotte Cross Sports Network with the AA, bringing you a new show. This is going to be a show that's going to touch on everything across the Charlotte Cross spectrum of schools that we support. But first, we're going to start off with the Tennessee Volunteers. The Tennessee Volunteers making big noise. And before we unpack all that, we're going to get right into it with our intro. Yes, the Tennessee Volunteers making noise in the transfer portal right now. They picked up some key players, some key things they need. And of course, the biggest news is Sam Levitt it was there on yesterday, and I think he extended his day to tomorrow or to today. So he's in Tennessee for 2 days. Hopefully they can get their deal done. Don't know what he's asking for. My thoughts are that he's asking for anywhere between $3 to $4 million. I'm saying, or somewhere in between. But hopefully Tennessee can get it done with Sam Levitt, and then that'll give them the quarterback that they need. Last time I checked on 3, Tennessee was number 44 after picking up Gilliam and the other kid from Louisville that's a kicker. So I'm gonna see. Let me see what they're doing here. But they picked up this kid here yesterday. I can't even make out his name based on what I'm seeing right now. But they picked up Xavier Gilliam. He's a 6'3", 300-pounder out of Penn State. They picked him up. And then they also picked up a cornerback and out of Auburn. And I had his name here somewhere. Kaylin Lee, defensive back. I think he's 5'11", 185 pounds. They picked him up. And anyway, they picked him up out of the portal. And they still have a ton of guys visiting right now, and that list is real long. But it's a lot of guys in that visiting. But the big names that Tennessee has in there visiting right now is they lost out on Bayard from Colorado. He went to Texas A&M. They got Aaron Scott, who's a defensive back. He's another big name that's coming in there. They're trying to get him in there for a visit. He's 6'1", 195. And then they're looking at the other two kids from, of course, Coleman from Penn State, the edge rusher. And it was also a defensive back. Let's see. I had it down here somewhere. A defensive back named Dejuan. He played with those guys up there at Penn State, and he's familiar with Jim Knowles' system. But the two big names is King Mack was way down the totem pole on him, so they're looking at the Dejuan kid, and they're looking at the linebacker named Campbell. Kid that's a linebacker out of Penn State. Also, they're looking at Coleman still. They still have a chance of signing Coleman. Coleman right now, Ohio State has dropped off the list, and now it's between Tennessee, LSU, and I think South Carolina's moved into the bidding war. But hopefully Tennessee can get something done with him. Just looking at it here, I see where Gibson Gibson from Tennessee. He's headed to Ricky Gibson's headed to Texas A&M, and it looks like Ross, Jordan Ross. He went in the portal. He's headed to LSU, and let's see who else. Max Anderson. He signed on with Kentucky, and of course Gilbert, the kicker, he signed on with Arkansas. Bennett Warren signed on with Minnesota, and I think that's it for Tennessee right now. It looks like Tennessee it has a chance to sign a lot of big time players out of the portal. Let me go back over here to the So right now, Tennessee's in the running for Coleman. Like I said, he's the number 3 player in the portal right now, and then of course Wilson. They're getting Wilson in for a visit too. Now, if I can remember correctly, Wilson was the guy that played 1 year with Georgia and signed the NIL deal, and then he left on that NIL deal and transferred in the portal last year up to Missouri, and now he's in the portal again, and Tennessee's looking at him also. He's originally out of Florida, and so that's one of them. And of course, Sorsby, he was like he's one of the top quarterbacks. It's no telling how much. No one will really reveal how much money Sorsby received in this portal. I think I've heard anywhere from $6 million to $5.5 million he got from Texas Tech, and so that's what's going on. But most of the quarterbacks are jumping out of there and getting on with teams real quick. And there seems to be some controversy surrounding Kenny Minchey. Now, Kenny Minchey is a local kid out of Hendersonville, John Pope Paul there in the Nashville area. He originally committed to Nebraska, but then to turn around the next day he went back to Kentucky. So Stein up at Kentucky, he's doing some wheeling and dealing, but he originally got him to go back, leave Nebraska and go back to Kentucky. So they signed Candelaria, the quarterback who we heard earlier was just trying to raise his money up and his value out there at UNLV. He signed with Nebraska, so now most of the quarterbacks are going off that board pretty quick. He's going off that board pretty quick. And, of course, Josh Hoover went to Indiana. Indiana's got their quarterback for another year. Some of the other big names that haven't picked up a team yet is Dylan Raiola. He has not picked up a team yet. And just looking at it, the quarterbacks. Let me see here. See if I can do a search by team on there. Let's see the quarterback. But Tennessee's on the up and up. There's some guys coming in that's coming in for visits. Hopefully they can stop some of these guys from visiting other teams and they can pick them up. But if you see right here, you can see that Levitt is still here, number 1. The deal with Levitt had an injury on his foot, and that has some concern for a lot of teams, especially you're going to give him $3 or $4 million. And then all the teams are doing their due diligence on him with their doctors examining his foot. And if it looks like he won't be able to practice at all and during the spring, then it'll be almost like what it was this past season with Aguilar. Aguilar didn't get to participate in spring practice, so it'll probably be similar to what Aguilar went through with Levis if Tennessee picks him up. Now, I want to stay away from originally. I just tell you it's like it is. I wanted Tennessee to stay away from Levitt because of the injury. And I thought maybe they'd be paying a guy a lot of money who's not going to give them everything they need, and of course they need better. And then it looks like some of these quarterbacks are near. Now the other big one was DJ Lagway going from Florida to Baylor. That was another big one. And then of course the Rocco Beck going from Iowa State. Everybody knew he was going to Penn State. So that's what's going on with the quarterbacks. Most of them, like I said, found teams. The backup quarterback to Drew Heller up there at Penn State, he's looks like he's around 80-90% to Virginia Tech. So we'll see what happens with that. And then Probula, the quarterback from Missouri, he hadn't picked up a team yet either. So, like I said, they're getting on off this board. Slowly getting off the board. Now, Merklinger from Tennessee, he hasn't found a team yet either. So we're just waiting to see what happens with him. Of course, Eric Madden from Memphis, he's going to JMU. That's up there where Billy Gillespie went. And so and Colorado got a quarterback from Utah to transfer in. So we'll see what happens with that. It looks like Dion is doing almost the same thing and using the same approach that Indiana's been using, Coach Cignetti is using. Go out and get as many players that can play right away, that are already developed in the portal, and then pick up a few in the from the high school ranks. That seems to be exactly what he's doing. But anyway, that's the story on with Tennessee. And then, of course, Memphis is doing exceptionally well also in the portal right now. They're not getting a lot of the players they're not getting the players of the caliber that Tennessee's getting. But they're getting quite a few players. And it looks like they've got two quarterbacks coming in. They got a quarterback coming in from Southern Mississippi transfer. And then looks like they got one from, looks like Old Dominion coming in. So that's the story on Memphis. But running backs was another one of the big issues they had. And they had one of the running backs, I think Sutton Smith, he went over to Sutton Smith went over to Arkansas with Silverfield. So that's what's going on. And of course, the rankings right now, if you look there, you see where Tennessee is sitting. Since they picked up those other two players, Gilliam and the kicker from Louisville. I can't think his name right now. But they picked those guys up. And Tennessee had moved up into number 45. But now they've moved even further down. They haven't moved up a lick. They've moved down since the last time I was out here. They're not even in the top 50. So let's see, they've moved down to 56. They moved down to 56 in the portal. And then, of course, looking at some other schools here in the state. Vanderbilt, let's see where Vanderbilt is. Vanderbilt hasn't been really active in the portal either. So Vanderbilt's not in the top 70. And then Middle Tennessee's not in the top 70. And of course, and Memphis not in the top 70. So, like I said, well, take that back. Vanderbilt's number 32. They had a higher rating than Tennessee does. So Vanderbilt's doing exceptionally well. And looking at what they've done, so it looks like Trey Richardson, one of the top receivers, he's headed to Louisville. And then look like Zerk. Looks like he's an offensive lineman. He's headed. Let's see who he's headed to. Washington. He's headed to Washington. But overall, Vanderbilt has picked up, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They picked up 7 in the transfer portal. 7 players. And of course, they got Colby Sellers, defensive back. They got him from Texas A&M. And then they got Lyndon Cooper. I think he's a defensive lineman. They got him from Pitt. And then Tulane Carter. I think he's a defensive lineman too. Talon Carter, I should say. And then they got the Jorgensen guy, big tackle, and they got him out of South Dakota State. And so and then they got the big tight end, Vaney from Morehouse transfer. They got him in. So they still working out there too. Vanderbilt is. And then let's look at Memphis real quick. And don't know what the 2 FCS schools are doing. Don't know what Austin Peay's doing in the portal. And I don't know what Tennessee State's doing in the portal. All I know is Tennessee State did pick up a quarterback out of South Florida, transfer. Don't know if he was how he was rated as a transfer portal player or a high school kid coming out. Let's see here. So, Memphis. Here's Memphis. They looks like they picked up a player from Mississippi State. And of course, they had several players go, like 1, 2, 3. At least 3 players follow the coach to Arkansas. But they've been picking up some players in the portal, mostly 3-star players. So he's slowly building back what he's losing. Memphis is, and of course. Coach Huff is doing an exceptional job trying to keep Memphis where they are. Because Silverfield had them between an 8 and 10 win team every year he was there just about. And that's what the people are probably going to be expecting from Charles Huff. And then, of course, middle don't know what they're doing either much. Last time I looked, Memphis, Middle Tennessee was still having a hard time getting some kids committed in the portal. But here's a look at Middle Tennessee right here. And looks like they've got one. Looks like they've got one player that's committed to them in the portal so far. So Coach Mason has a long way to go with getting kids in the portal. But actually, I'm looking at my ticker going across Tennessee. It had 18 in the transfer portal, a total of 21 players in the transfer portal from Tennessee. I think Vanderbilt had about 9 to 11. So that there, I'm gonna change that. Middle had maybe about 10 or 11. That's gonna go up also for them too. And then of course Memphis had 34, 35 in the portal, and he's slowly getting them all back. Yeah. Now just looking here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So actually, Middle Tennessee had 15 in the portal, 15 players in the portal. The other big news: Tennessee Titans are interviewing head coaches candidates, and that's ongoing as we speak. Probably one of the big names out there that they're looking at is Nagy, Coach Nagy at the Kansas City Chiefs. He's the OC at the Kansas City Chiefs, former head coach at the Chicago Bears, and then also they're looking at John Harbaugh, who just was fired from the Ravens job. They're looking at him. I don't know if he's been interviewed yet. And then it's a lot of coordinators being interviewed. So we don't know who's going to have the solid pathway to getting the job, but we'll find out something here in the next few days or so. Of course, Miami Dolphins fired their coach a couple of days ago, so that job is open also. I think it's a total of 7 jobs open right now in the NFL, which is a long process, that they use in order to make these hires, because you got to be real careful what you do, and you got to be able to make a hire good enough to get you in the playoffs. And just look at Green Bay's been in the playoffs just about ever since they hired the guy up there. And then of course Johnson, in 2 years he got the Bears in the playoffs. So that's the kind of player, coach you need. And the guy up at Detroit doing a magnificent job also. And he's been there a little longer though. He's been there about 5 years. And then look at what Vrabel's doing up there at New England. He's really turned the New England Patriots around. And so just looking at, that's the kind of coach you want to bring in. I don't really know if you want to get an offensive guy or a defensive guy. It just depends on what you think is going to fit and what you think is going to probably be able to, as an ownership, be able to get your team where you want it to be as far as winning. And then, I looked at the Titans and watched them all season. They need a lot of help on the defensive side of the ball, especially the secondary. Secondary let them down in a lot of games. The front 7 did a pretty good job for Tennessee Titans, but that back end really hurt them. And so there's going to be some good corners in the draft. They need to get at least a couple of them out of the first 2 rounds of the draft. And then they need an edge rusher someone to work in there and help Jeff Simmons out. I saw two of the best edge rushers play last night that I've ever seen for the Miami Hurricanes. Mansour and Bain. Two of the best edge rushers I've seen, and they'll be good in the NFL also. I think a lot of people say they're two of the best, but I think the best I've seen, Bailey out there at Texas Tech, is really good. He's really good pass rusher. So some good edge rushers out there. We just got to see what the Titans look like they want. They gonna have the 4th pick in the draft. And then the other news is like I said, we're waiting on big news coming out of Tennessee for Sam Levitt, and to see what they're gonna do with Sam Levitt. And then of course, if that happens, that's gonna push Tennessee up in the rankings as far as transfer portal folks. Tennessee needs a running back, and I think they have a running back on their list that's coming in to visit. I think he's coming out of Cal. His name is Raphael. I think he visited yesterday, and it's another running back visit. But they need another running back in that room. And then it's a wide receiver that they had on the list also that visited them, I think, today. And he's a little jack of all trades type guy. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's like 5'8", 185 pounds. He can play out of the backfield as a runner, or you can put him in the slot, or you can put him and quick pitch him and stuff and run him just like a running back, or you can put him in the YZ and run him that way too. He's a good player. Hope that Tennessee can pick him up. He basically would be a guy that would fit Legend Bay, what Legend Bay was planning on being for Tennessee. And so that's one of the things to look at. Now, I'm working on my draft. I'm working on my big board for the draft. And I'm going to work on that first mock draft here, and I'll have that out to you here probably in another few days or so. But one of the things I can tell you, it's a lot of uncertainty surrounding a lot of the players in various positions, because the quarterbacks, a lot of them have not declared for the draft. Now I know Ty Simpson, he declared for the draft. So that means he got a draft grade back from the scouts and the NFL folks, putting him in the first round. And then, of course, Dante Moore up at Oregon, he may decide to come back because he's getting about $4.5 million. He may decide to come back to the Oregon Ducks because Oregon paying him pretty good money, but if he goes in the second pick overall, he's going to go to the Jets, and he may not want to go to the Jets. The Jets is almost a career-ending move for me. I just don't see where they quarterbacks go there to die. And then, of course, Mendoza's going to be the first overall pick. And then, of course, Simpson, I think they got Ty Simpson. He's a local kid also from Tennessee. I think they got him. Most of the boards have him going between 15 and 27 in the draft, in the first round. So, he's coming out. He's coming out. Unless something changes, he's coming out. But anyway, with that said, that's going to end this show. I'm going to have some more content for you. And we'll see you on the next show. God bless. We'll see you on the next show. And this is the Charlotte Cross Sports Network. Remember to like and subscribe. And hit the thumbs up when you see my channel. Let me know if you like it. And if you have any comments, comment. If you have any questions, question me. And we'll see what we can do to answer your questions. This is the Charlotte Cross Sports Network. God bless. We'll see you on the next show.